Two stand-up comics in New York City.
Just learned a lot of this stuff. I'm gonna ask all the stupid questions that you might be thinking at home, but are afraid to ask people.
Making it to where you feel like you're too stupid to be able to ever engage in it, they win.
Why the fuck are they doing this?
It's to make money. It's Risque business news.
Hi, welcome back to Sheeta Stand-Up 2. Our guest is May Planners.
I wish. You fucking assholes have never invited me on that podcast.
We do this podcast like once every 3 months.
Oh, okay.
But we will have you on, actually.
Sitting in the same spots we do our podcast.
Yeah, but no, welcome to Risque Business News, a way better, more successful podcast. I'm your host, May.
And I'm Laura, and we are joined today by this guy I just met.
Yeah, this is great. I actually get to be in the apartment while you film an episode for once. Usually
That's a
I'm getting
change.
kicked out.
This is Matthew Broussard.
Hi.
We sleep together.
Yeah, I fucked my way onto the... I'm the second guest after Mark Norman. This should be called Guys We Fucked. I think that
We wish.
would be a great name.
Yeah.
It's the only guests we're allowed.
Oh,
It's
boy.
gonna get weird.
That would
It's gonna
get
get
Pull
weird.
out the Rolodex. All right.
My fucking guys I would bring on would be so boring, too.
It
Besides
would be like financial
Yeah.
analyst, financial analyst, financial analyst.
same.
Real estate swim coach.
Yeah, swim coach, financial analyst.
Do you fuck your swim coach?
No, but
A
all my
swim coach.
like every swimmer is like plan B is swim coach.
Got
or
it.
plan A, someone's passion out there. It's plan B.
A lot of bathing suits, a lot of skimpiness. You can see it.
Yeah. But there is famously a bunch of swimmers that have fucked their swim coaches. It's a problem in USA swimming. We're
Just
working on
not
it.
you.
Safe sport.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, not me.
Cool. Well, welcome to the podcast. This is very exciting.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much. I'm very excited. Been a big fan for a long time.
Yeah. So we want to talk a little bit about, obviously, you are a stand-up, unless people don't know for some reason. Which
Sorry,
Yeah.
yes, Matthew Broussard. I'm a stand-up comedian.
stand-up comedian. And you did have some weird, like, random jobs before
He had
being
like
a full-time
a
stand-up, though.
career
correct? Yeah.
beforehand.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was like a summer camp counselor and a lifeguard. I think those are my only like real jobs growing up. But
Yeah.
Well, then you worked while you were in Houston.
yeah, I had 2 jobs out of college. I had no ambition. I started as a mechanical engineer, and my parents wouldn't let me major
whole
in math. I wanted to major in math or physics, and my parents wouldn't let me. They thought it wasn't employable enough.
Okay.
So I had to do mechanical engineering, and then I took
know,
a
I was like-
class in the applied math department that I really loved, and I convinced my parents that it was as employable as an engineering degree, and then got my degree in that.
Okay.
But yeah, I liked it, but I wasn't a great student. I think I had right below a 3.0.
Didn't you go to Rice, though?
Yeah.
So
Okay, so you're a good student.
I-
Come on.
Maybe
Matthew
like
is a huge nerd.
now when I talk to other math majors from other schools or when I tutor it, I'm like, oh, I'm not a complete dipshit, but. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Our program was really hard because there were like 30 applied math majors at our whole school. So it was
Yeah.
just the same 5 kids. And it was we had a bigger grad department than undergrad department. So we would just take, let's say I was taking a CAM 350.
Yeah.
Taking the 350 level class. It was also the 550 graduate level class that we'd all just take together, and they would just curve our scores.
Oh, interesting.
Undergraduate versus graduate. And it's Rice, so all the undergraduates were like, well, I'm going to do just as well as a graduate student because I'm a type A overachiever who will have a heart attack at 39.
And they probably did.
And they did, and I was not that ambitious. I just wanted to party. It was my first time. Girls liked me. It was the first time anyone was offering me booze.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take advantage of that because
Where'd you grow up again? In
Atlanta.
Georgia?
Yeah.
Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just saying CAM 350 gives me anxiety.
I don't even know what that is. I
Yeah,
was just
exactly.
like,
I
CAM
was
is
like,
computational and applied
Doesn't
mathematics. It's
still-
just it's just the name of it.
what kind of
my heart
job
rate's
can
going
you
up.
get with a math degree?
So applied math, you code a lot. So our degree, easiest way to explain, it's about half coding, half math.
Okay.
So you can end up in finance and energy and any kind of thing where you're telling computers how to do complex mathematical stuff. Mm-hmm. Any STEM degree is just a little piece of paper that says, I'm smart, hire me, and you can get like...
Maybe on
For the most part, yeah.
I won't look you in the eyes in this interview.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Make the company money.
The quantitative analysts for like the major Wall Street banks who program the supercomputers, the high frequency trading, they just like poach those guys from NASA. They're like,
oh, wow.
MIT PhDs in physics, and they're like, well, if you can do that, you can teach us how to like notice micro arbitrage.
So
Crazy.
how much more money would you be making if you were still doing all that?
I would, if I was actually ever a good employee or as smart as I make myself sound, maybe. But I think,
Good boy.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you got out of school. I understand that you did have a career in finance. Talk to us. Where did you work? Did you work at like one of the big ones like Goldman Sachs or where?
No.
No.
I had no ambition. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was swimming a lot. That was all I cared about. I wasn't even on the school team. I just swam wherever
He swam
I
in
could.
high school at like a good club team, and then you were
Late.
weird where you liked it so
I loved
much
it. Yeah,
that you decided to do it optionally in college.
yeah, I was on the master's team. I was manager of the women's swim team, which was a great scholarship.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so I would
That
coach.
sounds so creepy.
Yeah, right.
And then
there
I'm
was
like,
no men.
hey,
It's not like, I would
toss
just
me
like
a water, buddy.
clean off their sweaty ab mats. That was my main job. But they would
With your
mostly
tongue.
yeah. I would mostly like coach the age group. So like the college team has an associated age group team. So I would coach that. I would coach the master's team, which is just a swim team for anyone over 18, but it's usually like people in their like 50s primarily. We had all ages. And I would swim with them too. And that was where I'd swim like an hour a day with them.
Wow.
Just to practice.
It's like a full-time job.
I really.
when you're doing a math
Optionally.
degree.
Like, why? I don't understand.
I wasn't that hard of a job, but
Okay.
yeah, I would swim for fun. The cool part was it got me free swimming,
Yeah.
and I just let that get completely in the way of my schoolwork for no reason.
Your parents
No, I was
were like,
obsessed
"What?"
with it. I loved it so much. I would do 6 a.m. practices.
Also,
I would.
How thrilled. I feel like my parents would have been thrilled had I studied mathematics.
Oh, me too.
And they were like, not employable enough.
Nope.
I know, right? Yeah, my parents would be shocked if
Floored.
I have to say that stereotype that's like women are bad at math, it definitely applies here. Like I was really fucking bad. I was actually in high school. I had to
People are bad at math.
Yeah,
Let me just clarify.
Okay, well, I was in high school in one of those discrete math classes just to get like a math grade. And let me tell you
yeah.
something, it was all women. So you can do with that whatever you want to do with it. But that's just the truth.
Yeah.
It's just a fact.
I tutored
And then it all
Nori.
failed out.
I tutored Nori Davis went live today on Instagram. Said
would pull up my phone,
math exclamation mark help all caps. And he has bits about how he hates math, and I joined in and I asked to go be the like other person on it, and I just helped him explain to his daughter how to find lowest common denominators and add fractions. But I was mostly tutoring him. He was
Yeah.
like, yes, so what do we do next? Okay, so I multiply by 3. He was like, yeah, we multiply by 3. And so I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot of people who just never learn this stuff
Yeah.
to begin
it's
with.
hard. And then it leaves your brain so fast. Like this podcast, when we talk about something the next day, I
Yeah.
have no idea what our topic even
45
fucking
minutes
was.
later.
So like with math, if I had to teach, or if my daughter was like, what's this geometry question? I'd be like, girl, Google's there for a reason.
Well, now you
I
know
don't
you just
That's
go live
weird.
on Instagram and Matt will come on in and help you out.
I forget history. Like I'll read things in good like nonfiction books and forget them right away. Math never seems to. If it disappears, I can rebuild it pretty quickly because it's also interconnected to me.
True.
And I always love. So for me, math, I love how much
He
of it I can
loves
retain
it.
or
It's
relearn.
so weird. He
Yeah.
loves math.
Yeah. And I get to tutor it now, which is really nice.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, I work with this organization, so we tutor students who come from poorer families and show significant aptitude and work ethic, and we help them
That's
from
great.
middle school all the way to the end of college, help them find scholarships. But I mostly I get to work with the late high school and college students where I just work with them for a semester. We go over each homework set or whatever. So we get to do like calculus. At the
smiling.
minimum calculus,
Yeah.
which is so great.
You understand-
Calc 2, linear algebra. We got to do complex analysis. So like the harder the class, the more exciting it is for me. I don't want
He'll
to do
like
algebra.
cancel date night because he has to tutor.
Oh my god.
And how do
Great.
you get mad? How do I get mad? I'm like,
like, fuck
how
these
dare
kids."
you tutor these low-income, brilliant children? I want to go to an Italian restaurant,
Yeah.
damn it.
And it's funny
I'll go
'cause
with you. How about
perfect.
they're
You're out.
like such better students than because I had a tutor. So in college, I was technically part of the athletic department.
that? Right.
So I got
Manager.
free athletic tutoring.
Okay.
So I would just sit with my friend who was a grad student in the same classes as me, and he would just do my homework, and I could launder him $13 an hour. So
see.
that was more or less how I passed my class.
So fraud. There we go.
Fraud, yeah.
I feel like every episode
then
we
failed
have
the
some sort of
tests.
fraud.
Oh yeah, and I never. This is how bad I am at math. Is I've told an episode about fraud, and I'm like, I don't really get what's illegal. And like, I'm like, so like they siphoned off all this money and embezzled it, but like, I don't understand the math around. Like Laura's
And
like,
somehow the money goes away, and
I'm going to commit fraud in my life and be like handcuffed and
like-
sent to prison and be like, I literally am too dumb to understand what I did. I'm not kidding.
you're gonna Martha Stewart it.
Like,
That's like when you watch
One
mob
of the
shows.
people.
And they're all so dumb, and the mom, like, that's some pretty impressive math they're
Yeah,
doing to cover
I
up.
agree.
Yeah.
I know criminals, so many criminals that we cover in this podcast. I'm like, if they just applied what they were doing to regular life and a regular job, they would be CEO.
They would crush.
They would be amazing.
They would
Yeah.
crush.
Yeah.
These hackers? Are you kidding? Just get an engineering job.
Right.
Same amount of money. No jail.
Mark
hopefully.
claims to have dyscalculia. Is that even a real thing?
Dyscalculia? Yeah. Dyscalculia, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like dyslexia, but
For
like you
math.
can't understand numbers. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you should see him trying to put like a tip on a bill. It's insane.
I also struggle with that. She watches me. Arithmetic is not math.
I do sales. I know how to
okay.
calculate percentages pretty damn quick. I'm like, how much am I going to make on that?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's take the call.
Yeah.
So what would you say? So math is more of like the equations and putting together puzzle pieces rather than
Solving
arithmetic.
problems. That's like, it sounds highfalutin, but
It really does.
math is
Yeah, I'm
logic
like,
by other
ugh.
means. Math is just understanding reality and the basic building blocks of logic.
Yeah.
Taken to a bit further, and we use these things numbers. Some math doesn't involve numbers. I think that kind of stuff is cool, but it's just solving. If I know this, what can I also say? And that's most of math.
That is cool.
So you love math. We got that. How did that apply to finance?
Well, my first job wasn't finance. I actually applied to a nonprofit called Reasoning Mind that did what it was an online math curriculum
Back
for.
to math. God damn it.
Yep, it doesn't end. It does a online math curriculum for like schools that didn't necessarily have the funding for the right teachers to be able to teach at all levels, helping those in need.
Bad teachers.
Yeah, under overworked teachers. So it was like a cartoon video game thing, but it was the whole 3rd through 8th grade math curriculum, and each student could work at their own pace. And they still do it. Really, really ambitious, really great idea. I really believed in it. And I just applied because it seemed cool, and it was pretty competitive to get in.
Oh, cool.
And I got in on graduation day, and I applied as a curriculum editor, which means we took our original curriculum, which was written by Russian people, and then they translated it, and we looked for typos or like weird culture.
Putin is so great. It's like, I think we need to. This is a math course.
Yeah.
Why is that in there?
He looks so brave, shirtless on a horse.
Is this another picture of Putin in this textbook? God damn it.
If Ukraine's army is charging towards Russia at 30 miles an hour, and Russia is charging towards...
Oh, we're all gonna die.
So there was a cool thing. There was cultural mistranslations we also had to keep an eye out for. Like one of the problems they gave as an example was being like, if like Ivan and his wife split an apartment with Robert and his wife, who each have 2 kids. Like it was like a problem that involved 2 families sharing an apartment, which is just
Okay.
something, we don't do that.
Right,
we will
right.
soon with millennials and Gen Z. But
Yeah, and BlackRock buying all the property and shit.
yeah, right. So I had this job as a curriculum editor that I was very, very bad at. I don't know. I ended up getting fired within the company. I was just so bad at it.
So they was super competitive to get in, and you got in, and they were like, oh, never mind.
No, not at all. So
Why? Why were you so bad at it?
I was just bad. Didn't move quickly through what they. It was the most boring job in the world. Just reading through.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Knowing your personality, I cannot believe that at any point in your life you didn't excel at something.
Not professionally.
Not to really toot your horn too much, but I just can't imagine a
I made good
world in
grades
which
in high
you
school.
wouldn't. You did good. Yeah, you did
Yeah,
good grades.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that Matt's brain is like, if he is interested in something, you cannot stop him. If he's not, he will
You cannot start him.
not pay attention to
Yeah.
it.
Sure.
Cleaning.
That's how a lot of very intelligent people are. Like all the
Yeah.
entrepreneurs that we cover are the same way.
Like
where
they
they either don't give a fuck,
do
and they
not
keep
give
getting
a
fired
shit.
and whatever, or they're all in.
100%, like too far down the road.
Yeah,
We were like, but why so much math?
right.
I'm happy for
not
you.
a
I wish I
hardworking
gave a
person.
shit about anything besides fraud.
Yeah. Oh, one of the reasons I got hired for the company was they had this cute little genie as their like the little character in the game. So I sculpted 3 of the genies and gave it to the CEOs of the company.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about
in my
this.
interview.
You fucking backdoor sculpting.
Yeah.
Got your way into the company
They're like,
that
oh,
way.
he's so ambitious and hardworking. And then I got hired. They're like, oh, he's so easily distracted by meaningless tasks.
Can you imagine if someone came to an interview and sculpted the mascot for the company or the logo?
I would be shocked.
I would be like, what's happening?
Truly. I remember after an interview, somebody sent me a bunch of cookies, like one of those, like the fancy ones, macaroons.
Oh, yeah.
And they sent me a bunch of them, and I was like, I don't fucking eat sugar.
Yeah.
Obviously. And then we didn't hire him. He probably spent like $40 on this gift. He wasn't a good fit, okay? You're not going to bribe me
Yeah,
with some
obviously we won't eat sugar here, idiot.
Yeah. It was when I was working in fashion. Everybody was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what are
like-
you doing, man?
Yeah.
Flowers.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Just made a family of rats very happy.
Right. Like, this man is not a
I
cultural
wonder,
fit.
can you use math anyway in your stand-up or writing jokes or anything?
Oh,
Yeah.
I've tried and the crowd hates it.
Yeah, but I think the way, I mean, this is a little highfalutin as well, but I think that the way that you structure your jokes, you can tell that you have a math brain because it's very, this piece goes here and move this here. Like, you're not a very, like, physical comic or it's very, like... the
Mentally.
beats are intense, like super intentional, and you can tell your
Calculated?
choice of words and stuff is extremely intentional. What are you gonna say?
Calculated.
Yeah.
Calculated. That's a perfect word for it. It's
They're also
calculated.
very like mentally satisfying jokes because I feel like you can listen to them a couple times and be like, like
Right.
the first time you listen through, there might be like things hidden in there and stuff like that.
Do you find that because your jokes kind of take a beat to understand for dummies that it's tough to do in some rooms?
Yeah.
You know?
But
How
I
else
also
can really
try
ask that
to
question?
Yeah.
I tried to parse out the information in like tiers and tranches. So it's like here's a little bit of
Tier 1
information
crowd.
where here's some of you are going to start to get it. Here's some more information. You're going to see where I'm going. Here's most of what you need, and hopefully most of you are laughing. And then here's just spelling it out.
Right.
So I'll have jokes that just pieces of information building to each person. So I'm trying to play to every intelligence level, and that if
Yeah.
you're dumb, you'll laugh at the very end. If you're hopefully a little more clever or attempting to get ahead of me,
Yeah.
which I hope a crowd is doing. I think
Right.
that makes for a good audience when they're actually trying to. It's weird when a crowd just isn't trying to see where you're going. They're just like
Right.
in the words you're saying. Like you're not gonna like even slightly project where this might go.
Right. Also, your jokes are so smart that if somebody doesn't get them and the rest of their table is laughing, they're gonna laugh because they're like, "Oh, I totally get it." Yeah, like they don't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
So, maybe you get some non-genuine laughers, but they're still laughers.
Or the people who laugh
happy to be there.
I think there are people who laugh extra loud because they want to feel smart. So like the
Yeah.
opposite.
Yeah, they're
of
like,
that.
ha ha, I got that early.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Totally.
I am satisfied by that. So I mean, yeah, maybe I have that in my audiences. So
Yeah, I would think so.
yeah.
There are definitely sometimes he'll pitch jokes and I'll be like, Matthew, I don't understand that here. Like, no fucking way. Is anybody going to
That
be
is a
able to
good
follow
test.
this?
Yeah.
Sometimes jokes where you take a beat after the punchline, and it takes them just like that second longer, hit harder though. Does
That's
that-
the best feeling in the world.
They
That's like my
put it
Absolutely.
together.
But
That's
there'll
my
be
favorite kind of
some
joke.
Where I'm like, I don't even know the references. It'll be like referencing some math
Fourier
thing.
series or something,
Yeah, and
yeah.
I'm always like, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe others will get it, but let me just tell you, me, no, right over my head.
There are some references that people use, and I can't think of an example of one where it's like so perfect, and then there's certain people that understand the reference, but even if you don't understand the reference, you know what they're going for, so it still kind of
Yeah.
works. Like Family Guy has that all the time, where sometimes they'll do a reference, and then it'll be like, a 2-minute bit of Peter saying the same thing over and over, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I don't have any idea what they're talking about, but I understand
Enjoy
why
it.
it's funny still.
Yes.
That happens with Mulaney a lot, where I'm like, I don't even know who he's talking about, but that just sounds funny.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see a lot of parallels between you and Mulaney in the way that you structure bits, which is
I mean, he's so
You're
good
welcome.
at telling long stories. I wish that's one thing I haven't been able to use my math brain to decode is like long form story in comedy.
Yeah.
Because everything kind of falls
You're
apart.
getting better.
I'm still just piecing. It's still a mosaic. I'm still just
But I
piecing
think
together
that
jokes.
probably
that seem,
is more what it looks
Probably. I know people who build out the story and then punch it up, but I need
girl.
each punchline kind of refined.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a better way to do it, because then people have these stories and there hasn't been a laugh in fucking 50 seconds or whatever.
But you don't want a cheap laugh, like, because sometimes you
Yeah.
need a laugh to keep like, oh, this is 20 seconds now, I need something.
Yeah.
But you don't want like a cheap laugh
True.
to fill it in.
So
Oh, I got fired from that role.
yeah,
So
I
they
want
moved me
to
over.
circle back to you
They
getting
moved
fired.
me over to a sales position
Hell yeah.
where they thought I would be better. I mean, of course, that's what I should have been. Compared to mathematicians, I'm like the most outgoing guy in the world.
True. Yeah.
I'm mostly an awkward person, but for that, I was like a decent fit. And I only worked there for like a few weeks. I was just cold calling and jumped ship because a guy I knew through swimming was looking for someone to work at his private wealth management firm.
Oh,
Very
nice.
small with a lot of money. So they just managed like a couple dozen families, their nest eggs, pick their stocks, help them find private investments. And it was a lot of money to manage. And
Yeah.
he saw my degree and wanted me. So I left for that job, which wasn't like, it wasn't Wall Street. It was like a teacher's salary. I worked 9 to 5.
Really?
Nothing more.
Oh,
No.
wow. Okay.
And I just did spreadsheets. Like,
Yeah.
I taught there was 3 people at the company. I was the third.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
So,
it's tiny.
We had a secretary. I remember my last week there, I taught her what Control F was.
Oh, no.
She'd been working there for 10 years and didn't know what Control F was.
Oh, shit.
We were
You probably blew
pouring
her
over
fucking mind.
blotters of every at the end of every quarter, we'd look over every trade, every stock trade, every interest payment from every dividend stock,
Wow.
whatever, and code it all in by hand. And she was
Oh my
pouring over
God.
that stuff and then reconciling it and having to just look for like, when did they sell this stock? So
Whoa.
I was at least helpful with that. And I was trying to create an automated system that would just populate it. And he was that was one of my pushes. But mostly I just did like spreadsheets. I would
Yeah.
just take whatever information he wanted me to do, just look up the growth or plot this stock account versus the market.
Yeah.
It was all math I could have done in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and VLOOKUP was the most. I'd say
Challenging.
learning VLOOKUP was the most I used my degree.
That's
Nice.
Yeah.
That's one of the good ones right
Yeah.
there. VLOOKUP.
Oh, yeah. You gotta love a VLOOKUP.
Love it.
So I was 23 when I started that job. I didn't even last 1 year at the nonprofit, and I think I started comedy within like maybe 2 months of that
Oh, okay.
job.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
and
I always thought that you were in the working world longer.
no, in finance only like 2 months.
Exited
So
as fast as possible.
immediately, just my ambition was shot. I was a very bad
Upon doing
employee
stand-up.
again because I was stand up. I was just doing it. I think there was probably like 4 months where I was doing it once a week or less, and then
Yeah.
suddenly it clicked that you could treat it like a sport and just
Yeah.
like just yardage, volume,
Mm-hmm.
just as many sets as you can do. And I started doing that, and it started paying off very quickly because Houston was an easy scene to take advantage of because there weren't that many people doing comedy, and there were
Weirdly
loud
big
crowds.
city and not like a ton of clubs. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like.
What's their big club there? Helium?
No, we
No,
had the
the
Improv,
Improv.
The Improv.
which was actually mostly a black room. Seats 460, so you'd have to be a huge
Yeah,
draw.
that's a lot
Yeah.
of people.
So they would just basically have on like a 9-month loop Bruce, Earthquake, Gary Owen,
about to say
Cheryl
Earthquake.
Underwood, Lunel.
Miss
so I was
Pat.
like, you Miss Pat. So I wasn't featuring for them.
That'd be a weird combo.
I mean,
That
maybe I
would be
could have.
funny.
that would be
I
fun.
would go to that show.
Yeah.
I worked the
Absolutely.
a place called the Comedy Showcase, which was outer loop. So like like the loops.
Yeah.
So it was way out there, blue collar area, diverse crowds. It was always like about a third Hispanic, third white, third black.
That's good.
Working class, and that was where I got to go up. Like on weekends, I would go up like 15-minute spots. I was a year into comedy, going to do.
That's
15
amazing.
minutes. It was great.
You're in a comedy. I
That's-
thought I had 15 minutes. I had one joke.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That would be a crime against the audience
Oh
for me
my
to stand up there for
God.
15 minutes.
I would get arrested after.
I just start doing my sales pitch. Like, should we move some units? Let's go.
And comedy went well. Like a year in, I won a contest.
No, that's great.
So I was working all the clubs in Texas, and then a year and a half in, I showcased for Comedy Central.
What?
I had
Isn't
no
this
idea.
nuts?
It threw
Holy
it via
shit.
Austin.
I know.
Wow.
And,
Now I'm like,
I booked
so
it.
far behind.
Damn.
Which in retrospect, it was wild. They booked me for like the first season of one of their showcase series, and
Like a last comic standing kind of thing, or
like premium blend.
okay.
Yeah. So my boss was offered to pay for my CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst examinations, which are like three exams with like an over 50% fail rate.
Damn.
And he signed me up for the course. He bought me a book, and I was just trying to study after. I would go from work to swim, and I was going to study between swimming and comedy. And then like just a couple weeks into studying, I got an email that says, "You're on Comedy Central." And I just pushed the book off my desk.
Oh,
I was
fuck
like,
yeah.
No, this
That's
is just, yeah.
A beautiful moment.
Yeah,
Get
I
the
was
fuck
just
out
like,
of here.
I can't
is
be
nice.
bothered.
Managing
No.
money.
Yeah, because when you're starting, like, I have no idea if I could make this a career, and I had this really concrete thing that was
Right.
like, you might be able to.
Yeah.
I went to LA, filmed it, got a manager, got a college agent, came back home, and decided I was moving to LA. And I sat down with
Damn.
my my boss for lunch, and I was like, I think that the comedy, I love it, and it's going really well. I'm going to move to LA. I was seeing if I could work, part time. He was like, keep working full time remote. We'll just, I think comedy's going well for you. I think within 6 months you'll be on your way.
Best
Yeah.
boss ever.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
so I was like,
That's
oh,
great.
that makes this so great. And I was packed up my things to move to LA, and like that morning, I got an email saying that I was cast in this movie that was filming in
What
Austin.
the fuck? This is like.
So I drove up to
know.
Austin
So
and lived
May,
there for
now
2
you
months.
understand why every once in a while I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna kill myself. Like, what's going
Don't
on?
worry.
unheard
No,
of.
I know, but it's still either way. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
It was a
Yeah.
movie no one saw, but it was like starring
Still.
Kate McKinnon, Jake Lacey. Who else was in it?
I actually don't think I've ever seen this.
It's called Balls Out.
Yeah, I know that you were
Balls
in
Out,
it, but
okay.
I've never actually. I need to watch this movie at some point.
Yeah,
I'm
for
it's-
sure.
I had one line.
You
but-
have such like a distinct look, though. You're the perfect person for like frat boy, like
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
it is.
American
Yeah.
Pie
I was
What was the
kind of
role?
vibe.
You know who Beck Bennett is? On SNL. He was like the evil. It was It was like a sports movie, but it was about an intramural sports team. So the whole
that's
joke
funny.
was that it was high stakes, low stakes.
Yeah.
I was just the
Classic.
brooding like what is it, Crab and Goyle.
Lackey.
Yeah, lackey. Yeah,
Yeah,
just yeah. And yeah, I did
Kate
that
McKinnon.
for in a scene I pushed her. I led her into a room with a blindfold, so I touched her shoulders for one of the
Oh
scenes.
wow.
Yeah,
What was going to happen in that room?
I forgot like pinata.
I
or
guess we're
something.
gonna watch the movie.
Yeah, you got to see. I'm really selling it well. That wasn't part of the movie. I kidnapped Kate McKinnon.
That's optional.
Risque Business News is brought to you by Breakshot Pool.
Yeah, it is.
There is a new mobile game out there. It's called Breakshot Pool. It's an app for iOS and Android. Breakshot Pool is the only pool game on the app stores specifically designed to be played between real-life friends like Laura and I.
us.
Like us.
The two of us. Two people.
Sometimes you just need a break. For us, all the time. And this is the perfect game for that. So Breakshot Pool is fun and perky turn-based game that is completely non-intrusive, no annoying ads or forced in-app purchases. I like that.
That's great. I get so fucking pissed.
Me too.
We swear during these? Keep it
Probably
moving.
not.
Doesn't matter.
We'll bleep it. Many players have called it words for friends of pool.
Oh, I like that game.
Yeah, with Breakshot Pool, you can play pool with your friends without needing to be online at the same time. When your friend plays, you'll get a notification that it's your turn and you can play back whenever you feel like it. I don't want to play this with you. You'd be too competitive.
I'd be like 3 a.m. May, play me back.
The game is free and in-app purchases are completely optional. Even if you don't consider yourself a gamer or even a huge pool fan, check it out. You'll see how much fun it is. Many non-gamers have already been enjoying it, myself included, because famously, I'm not as into gaming as you are.
As we're aware.
It's a great way to connect with friends, especially since many of us are still stuck working from home. This game gives fun little breaks to get away from it all. Breakshot Pool is available for iOS and Android, and iOS and Android can even play against each other. So you can play with your friends no matter what phone they have, green bubbles included.
Ooh. Well, Risky Business News listeners, if you download the game, you're going to get a variety of in-game goodies for free to make your experience even better. I don't know how it can get better, but it will. So go to the Apple or Android app stores and search for Breakshot Pool. That's Breakshot, one word. They're BREAKSHOT. I can spell. And pool, as in I know pool. That's a word I know. POOL. So one more time, that's Breakshot Pool. Breakshot, one word, pool. And there's also going to be a link in the description if you can't spell. So go ahead, download the game, invite your friends, show off your skills, send funny reactions, emojis, messages, whatever the hell you want. The developers are huge fans of this podcast, which we love that. And they want to get some more of our fans to come connect with this cute game on your phone. So please go ahead, download the game, give yourself a little break, try it out, and you're going to get free goodies. So click the link. Available on iOS and Android. Bye.
And then I filmed that. And then I had finished that, and I was getting worse and worse. My working remote, I didn't even have Wi-Fi at the place I was staying.
Oh God!
So I go to a coffee shop, and I bought this dinky computer, this like Windows tablet kind
like
of
a
thing.
Chromebook or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I was trying to do my job, but I wasn't very good at it. And then I was packed up 2 months there, and I was packed up to move to LA. And then I got into a contest in San Francisco.
Oh my God.
That was supposed to go on for like 2 or 3 weeks. So I
keeps
drive
going. I know, right?
through LA up to San Francisco. All my stuff is in my car now. I park at my friend's place, and I end up staying there for 3 weeks. Get to the last week of the competition. I get to the first round, down to the top 15, and then from there I do well enough to get to the top 5, which is just one night. All the while working, and like 2 days before the final night, my car got broken into.
Oh shit!
In broad daylight in San Francisco, my computer was stolen.
Oh.
And I didn't tell my boss immediately. I waited a couple hours. And given the nature of our work, I had to resign.
Okay.
And it was the worst day of my life.
Oh fuck.
Because I hadn't even got to LA yet.
Yeah.
And all of this, I had stopped in Austin, then I drove straight through to San Francisco, and then I got last place on the finals.
Yeah.
And then I drive to LA a day later found a place online, park at a place I'd never been to, and I guess I'm living here.
Were you freaking out about money? Were you like, how am I gonna?
I had saved a lot.
That's
And I was just like, is this just gonna start burning immediately? And
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah, I
terrifying.
mean, where's
I think I found a place for like $900
Wait,
a month, the same place you met me in. Yeah.
It was a shell. But yeah, it worked out. Wait, I want to know more about this conversation with your boss.
I was crying, begging to keep my job.
You were. Oh no. What did he say? Just fuck you.
It doesn't. No.
It's
He was
tough on
he
him. I
was
kinda
broken
get it.
about it. Like it hurt him so much. But God, this is so much. I should not be saying any of this. Hopefully, you can't figure out who this guy is. But the SEC requires that if a computer goes missing, we inform all of their customers that they have to, all of our clients that they have to change their passwords, and we have to tell them why.
Yeah.
It's so
So
funny.
you know that guy who fucks up emails and
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be focused at work? He just compromised your
Your
your nest egg.
Yeah.
And at least one client was like, fire him or I leave.
Yeah.
What
I
is he
mean,
supposed
that's
to
that's
do?
a tough scenario.
Yeah.
it's kind of fair.
In retrospect, like, I
Yeah.
shouldn't have kept that job.
No, I don't think so. Unfortunately.
And then whenever I see
I didn't
like
think I'd be on Team Boss, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm on.
I think so.
whenever I see a 25-year-old, I'm like, I didn't care about anyone or anything. When you have, like,
No.
especially when I had like
Yeah.
this dream turning into a reality right in front of me of like,
Yeah.
why do I care about these spreadsheets? Why do I care
Yeah.
about? Because there was that path if I had passed the examination, which I didn't show up for, by the way, and paid my boss back for.
Oh man.
There's still
If I had
time,
just
Matt.
passed
Let's get
my
you back in there.
yeah, right. I could have been on track to keep working in that business and made good money, and
But you would have been miserable.
I don't know.
You probably would have gotten fired from a
Having
job later on
tasted
down the road.
yeah, I would have gotten fired from that eventually.
Yeah.
I wish math teacher is probably what I should have been, or engineer, because those would
Yeah.
have been more fun.
But it's kind of, I mean, I feel like it's good because that helped you get into comedy, which is ultimately at least what you seem to be best at.
I'm better
And
at that.
you really,
than-
really, really, really
than
enjoy
finance.
it. Granted, you love teaching math, so
Yeah.
maybe it's a toss-up. But I don't know. I kind of
Yeah.
like the comedy one.
Yeah, it worked out. And then within like a few weeks of getting fired, very shortly after, I booked a NACA or two. So I booked NACA Nationals.
which is the
College
for people
showcase.
listening, the college showcases where you can
Right.
make a lot of money,
A lot. And then
at least in stand-up world. A lot of
yeah,
money.
so I had one credit, and also I wasn't getting up in LA because no one knew who I was. I was just some kid from Houston who had no
Right.
connection. So I was just
Yeah.
going to open mics or like begging to get on shows. And
Yeah.
the more insecure you feel, the more arrogant you act. So it created a pretty bad negative
Yeah.
feedback loop that I think put a lot of people off, and I'm still recovering from that. But I booked NACA Nationals, which is a big deal because that's where all the colleges come. It was in Hartford. And I remember my roommate was driving me to the airport, and I got a text that the Boston airport was closed due to the snow. I get to the airport, I reroute to Hartford. No. It was in Boston. I rerouted to Hartford and then had to rent a car and drive overnight. I barely slept at an Airbnb. And then I had sound check at like 8 a.m. And then my showcase was at 10 a.m. I was first. The host wasn't even a
comedy
comic.
show at 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
Isn't that a nightmare?
Well, it's a showcase, so there's maybe one or two comedians. There's a magician. There's a musician. There's a hypnotist.
Still.
The
TEDx
opener
talk.
was 5 minutes of a beat poet, and then she brought me on. And I needed the set to go well, so I remember I just willed the set to go well. I was like, I can't bomb today. I refuse to bomb.
Right.
The set went great. I booked 40 college shows.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. And
Damn.
that was my entryway into making money off of comedy.
That's awesome. So you got like so many awesome, opportunities and successes right up front. And then, so I feel like it's a double-edged sword though, because then when you go a little while without a win, how do you like sustain your confidence? How do you...
It hurt because you think, oh, you said a year where nothing happened. A year is a long time to feel like you're falling behind, or like 2. So like from, I guess, 2013 was when I booked Comedy Central, and things didn't really start happening for me again until 2015. It felt like just nothing. Just like real, not nothing, but nothing on the stand-up front. Yeah. And I wasn't booking any acting roles. And I was doing bullshit with like MTV and college shows, but couldn't get on. I mean, what are the cool alt shows in New York? I couldn't get on the cool alt shows in LA, or I couldn't get past in any of the clubs. Well, so I was making a living, but no one knew who I was.
At this point, you were 3 years into comedy?
Yeah.
Right.
So, like, looking into that, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta, like, do that.
Also, it's a double-edged sword when you get a lot of accolades up top, because you say that people were like, oh, there's this whispered network of maybe I rubbed some people the wrong way in LA or whatever, but I think what rubbed them the wrong way, probably just being in the trenches here in New York, is that you had accolades and they were jealous, which is such a cop out, and people always say people are jealous, whatever, but I
truly didn't deserve. Like, it's like it's like stocks where it's like tech stocks. You're trading off people's potential. Like, industry trades off potential, not what you actually are now, but the show you might have in 3 years, or the hour you might have in 3 years. Right. So they're so aggressively poaching young talent that I was an inconsistent performer. I had a solid 10 maybe.
Sure.
But
But they're like, he's got a look, he's got a presence, he's got smart jokes. Like, this is going to turn into...
Yeah, but the look didn't matter because I was a bad actor who couldn't book a single audition.
You're a good actor now, though.
I'm better.
Yeah. I remember when I met him, he was like, I'm not booking anything off auditions. And I'm like, have you ever taken an acting class? Ever? And he's like, no. And I'm like,
No.
Why the why would you just be perfect at this without any training whatsoever?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
A lot of people study their whole lives for this.
Literally go to university for
people
whatever.
Go to Juilliard.
It's like, it's a career.
Yep.
Right.
He's like, why don't I just like get in there and just like book a leading role? I don't get it. And now you took classes and you're booking way more.
Yeah.
Amazing how that works.
But it was that weird, but you feel, what's that word? Cognitive dissonance? Like I was getting so much validation on the industry side, but so much rejection from my peers.
Interesting.
Right.
And that always meant more to me. It still does.
Yeah. You want to be a comics comic.
You want to be that. And I think a lot more of the hatred was coming from resentment of how I behaved off stage and me getting credits I didn't deserve. And in my mind, I convinced myself that I must just be a hack. And it really just messed with my head. And I maybe affected my writing for the better, because I just didn't ever want to be...
Because you wanted to be more creative in your jokes.
I just didn't want anyone to be able to just be like, no, it's some Dane Cook knockoff. Like, I was like, it has to be different from that.
Yeah.
So I
it is
found
funny
things to write about.
Where it's like you need this balance between like, I don't give a shit what other people like, just be yourself and do what you think is funny, but then the idea that comics are in the back of the room talking shit about you, like, it's so hard to block that out of your mind.
Oh yeah. Still so haunts
hard.
Me.
I get self-conscious about wait staff. Like I go up at the tiny cupboard every single week, and I'm like, Matt and Amy have heard me say this joke fucking 1,000
kills me.
times.
Like,
and they're like, you haven't written a new fucking joke in 2 years. Oh my God,
Going up and being like, they know exactly what I'm gonna say, and
Yeah.
reality is they probably don't because they're
No, they do. Not you specifically, but they told me they were like, we're so sick of hearing people's fucking 10 minutes. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
That's fair.
That's
All right,
why
now I'm
waitstaff
great. Now I'm
loves-
gonna be very like. Next time I go
If
there.
you ask waitstaff who they love, it's Jesse Curson and Dave Attell.
Right,
because
'cause
they're
they're
constantly,
different.
even if they're doing the same jokes, they're spinning them differently and
Right.
throwing them at different people. There's Red is the piano player at the Village Underground at the Cellar, so he's on stage there with you.
Yeah.
And I love when I have a new joke that I don't think he's heard, and then he'll laugh 3 times during my set, and it's the 3 new jokes because
Right.
he's heard. But
Yeah.
it feels very good when I can actually.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the thing that's funny about jokes. It's not like music, unless it's like someone like Andrew Casertano, friend of the pod,
Yeah.
who it is actually kind of like music because he does the beat thing. But
sometimes I think of his like I'm like, and I'm
Yeah.
standing alone.
yeah,
You like me and you don't know why.
yeah. It's great though, and you want him to play the
Spotify.
hits.
Let's go.
Or good impressions. You can watch good
Yeah.
impressions pretty
Yeah.
repeatedly.
That's
But like my jokes are more like riddles where once you know the answer.
Right. You see
Yeah.
the answer coming, but I don't know. Maybe
No,
it'd be
I-
exciting bringing someone to the show and being like,
I still enjoy watching your jokes.
Oh, thank you.
Good girlfriend.
Thanks, babe.
wow.
So, okay, well, you've covered like most of the stuff I wanted to ask you about, like work horror stories. The laptop, that's pretty bad.
That's real bad.
That's pretty bad. Do you have anything else? Or maybe a really good moment in work? I don't want to.
I just remember walking back with Drennan Davis, an amazing musical comedian. And we're walking back and we're in like Chinatown, San Francisco, and I see the windows break. I've had so many break-ins.
Oh,
so many because
yeah.
I live near a train track. I'd had like 3 or 4 break-ins over the years. So I was just used to smash windows and I
Yeah.
never put anything valuable in my car. And I look and I go, oh no, broken window. Oh no, stolen backpack. Oh no,
Oh,
binder
God.
full of puns. Oh no, work computer.
For context, I think most folks might be aware, but Matthew,
No, very few people know what Monday Ponday is, I realized.
You really?
I didn't know until you told me.
Yeah,
And then
it's
I really liked it.
MondayPonday.com. It was a thing I started doing when I was working at the math curriculum company. I started doing that before comedy. I would just draw these little pun cartoons to show to my coworkers. And I
Yeah,
would
they're
do-
fun.
You are such a nerd.
Yeah, and the reason I did them on Monday,
So adorable, but also jarring.
I wanted to do one a week, and I was such a bad procrastinator that I did it first thing Monday. That's how much I didn't want to start my job. I'll get to work on Monday. We're like, let's draw a cartoon for Facebook.
That's funny. I just love thinking about the thief going through your stuff and then opening up the notebook and be like, "The fuck is this?
And he's
Dude, you
just
wanna know the
playing a
funniest
big
part?
An
hand now,
elephant
yeah.
on a
You want to know something I
unicycle or
really shouldn't say? I
Yes.
was very much about recycling, so I would just do my drawings on the back of work documents.
Oh,
Not that they would contain anything important.
Well,
but-
okay, this is the curriculum company, not the finance.
Sure, yeah.
you just post them on Facebook. You can see through the paper. There's a bunch of like
Yeah,
super important
it's just like
information.
social security numbers.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no.
Jesus. Maybe
Wow.
we'll cut that part out.
What's gonna happen to you now? You
Are you
know?
gonna get fired again?
Yeah, right.
Right.
It's true.
It's pretty unbelievable that we still have our jobs, considering the things we say on this
I
podcast.
know, it's true. But, we're just quoting folks. I'm not breaking any news here. Well, I figured what we could do on that note is take you through a small mini story and get your thoughts on what's going on in this is kind of like finance, investment adjacent world nowadays. What do you think? What do you say?
Yeah.
I feel like NFTs are very matte. I don't know why.
Yeah, we went to an NFT gallery. It's a lot of the art I like a lot of
Yeah.
the stuff I follow on Instagram, like very Murakami, and
Yeah, right. It
the
looks like
sculptures I make are like little goblin type characters.
exactly. Oh, by the way, I haven't
Yeah.
forgotten about. I wanted you to make the sculptures for my wedding
Yes.
cake. Yeah,
Yes.
isn't that a good
Also
idea?
Greg.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And please make a little mini Greg.
Yeah, we're gonna make
Put
a
on the
little mini
cake, little
Greg.
mini Greg.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
Okay, so let's go through this. I firmly think you should take your characters and make them NFTs, by the way.
Yeah,
yeah.
you
I was going through
should.
this and I was like, what the hell? Why not? But what we're going to talk about today is a short story on OpenSea, which is basically like the eBay for NFTs. So NFTs, non-fungible tokens. If you're not familiar, good for you. You live in a better world than we do here in New York City, where these NFT bros are everywhere. Let me tell you that. And I didn't really know, like, I know we've talked about it a little bit, but I hadn't like looked into OpenSea specifically in a ton of detail. And I didn't realize that they basically have a monopoly on selling NFTs.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So all of like the Bored Ape, the Crypto Kitties, all of those different things, they're like primarily going on the OpenSea marketplace. And there's probably a ton of reasons for that, like the contracts and stuff like that. And we're not going to talk about that because it's technical stuff that I don't think we really need to get into. But I will talk about the 3 major scandals, at least some of the recent ones that have hit this marketplace, which have been pretty funny.
All right, let's do it.
But first, let's start where it began. If you are looking at, if you're watching the video right now, you're seeing some cute little kittens of various colors and pretty much the same shape. So OpenSea actually began around this game that was about these cats. These are called Crypto Kitties. They were launched in 2017, and these are like the first major NFTs that existed. They were all a set of traceable, breedable cat pictures inscribed on the Ethereum blockchain.
So I could say I have an NFT of one of these cats. So does Matt. We can breed them.
Yeah.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah, like
And it
essentially.
creates a new NFT.
Yeah. And you can
Whoa.
like get different color combos and like it's kind of weird.
So it's sort
pretty
of
damn weird.
It's kind of like The Sims, or what was that one specifically when you'd have to check up on your cat?
Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi.
Yeah, it's like Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very
Or Neopets.
Neopets.
very
yeah.
Neopets. Yes, it's like
Tamagotchi
Pokemon
was
cards.
like a etch a sketch kind of thing, right? Maybe I'm thinking
Yeah.
of something else.
Yeah, that was like that
Tamagotchi-
little thing.
There
that
was a Neopets version of Tamagotchi, but Neopets started as an online game.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Oh.
was similar to that.
I loved Neopets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Giving Tree. Did you do?
No.
No one else played Neopets. Okay, my Neopets are out there just starving.
Oh,
right
they're
now.
dead.
They are dead. They
you-
haven't been fed in 15 years.
That'd be even weirder if you just kept up with them
Yeah, I'm like, they
secretly.
haven't been fed in 4 years.
Or you get a check and now they're worth like $13 million. Like, oh.
I don't even remember what they look like. I just remember being very into it because it was a free game and I didn't have video games back then.
You were such a nerd. It's so wild that you were such a jock and such a nerd.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of you, you're perfect for each other.
That's weird.
I wasn't good at sports, so that's my excuse.
He wanted to be though.
I wanted to be so bad. That was my driving personality trait until I was 23. Also, I didn't mention I was doing triathlons like a monster out of college.
What?
It was like, because swimming I worked so hard at was never good, but when I started triathlon I was good.
Right.
Because swimming was my weakest of the 3. So
Okay.
running and biking came naturally. So I entered it like decently fast.
And you're probably better
fast
than most
for, like-
people. Yeah.
Yeah, fast for like I was one of the fastest people under 30 in Houston, but-
Matt trying to flex on his sporting prowess right now.
I mean, it's not a real sport though. Again, I've said this of like I was like one of the best people under 30 because most triathletes are 50-year-old men trying to spend less time with their families. It's not like a real
So
sport.
true. That's absolutely correct.
And I did that. I was training like 12 to 15 hours a week between all of them. And another thing making me bad at my sports, and I think I did my first open mic, and like then I very quickly quit doing triathlons because
Yeah.
the hours were very different.
Oh no, you can't do both.
Yeah, definitely
I
not.
overlapped for a couple months, which was
Jesus.
very painful. but-
No, that's too
Yeah,
much.
it's too much work.
Okay.
Well, back to OpenSea. I just want to thank you, Pat, for zooming in on this bad boy that
I
we got
love
up
it.
here.
He's very cute.
Check out this little cutie. This is Kitty 60, 22, 3 or whatever. Gen 0, big deal. Probably worth a shit ton of money now.
What unit is that 7?
Well, is that ETH?
Ethereum.
All right, so that's 7 ETH. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. No,
3,000 in ETH.
you're totally right. So they're
That's 3,000. What's that?
3,000 is 1 ETH. 1 Ether.
yeah. So that's about 21 grand for that cat.
Wow.
As of when this screenshot was taken. So, and that's the whole thing is like, it sounds pretty silly when you look at it, but then you actually like start looking at some of the numbers that people are trading these things for. You're like, oh, this is big boy Pokemon cards, huh? Like we're
Yeah.
really getting in there.
That's
But
crazy.
there's truly no intrinsic value to these things. It just says
Oh,
you own
how
it.
dare you? NFTs
But it says
are the
that-
future.
But you don't own the rights to the picture. There's nothing. It's within some database that says your name as the owner, and then when you sell it, it has a new name in its place.
Yes.
Or not in its place after it.
It's
a
not,
blockchain.
and when you say on the database, it's more like it's on the smart contract, which is intrinsically connected to that's what you're selling back and forth, and it's represented via that picture.
Which is just the history of all trades ever made, and then you're paying to say that it was, on addition to that blockchain on that ledger, it just says.
One
and
day,
it was
Matthew
sold to this
Broussard
person, yeah.
Owned this kitty.
Matthew Broussard bought from Laura Sogar on this date, and here's a confirmation. And
It's really absolutely bananas to think about. And what's crazy is this game had 1.5 million users who were responsible for $40 million, I have to represent dollars, worth of transactions on its platform. Individual CryptoKitties have sold for more than $1 million a piece.
Oh my God.
As of this writing, the average sale price was like $65. There's thousands and thousands of them. Oh, yeah, Pat, pull up, if you want to pull up, that's like where all the different, the top CryptoKitties are. Oh, it didn't work out. That doesn't matter. Point being, yeah, here are the two most expensive ones that we've seen. Let's check her out. This first bad boy is just CryptoKitty with giraffe polka dots.
Oh,
$1 million. What? What?
People.
I do think it's cute.
It is, but then look at this one.
Yeah.
Pretty damn similar.
Oh, but less neon in color, yeah.
$837,000.
Does it I want to know if it
Big
randomly.
spots.
So I'd say this is a pretty popular skin. Does it randomly, when they breed, does it randomly choose what their offspring look like?
I don't know, but
I'd be
I'm
curious to
nervous
see
that Matt's
if it,
gonna
like,
get
mixes their colors
like
and
his
eyes and
interest
traits.
peaked. He starts getting in. All of a sudden, I'm just like, oh my god, are you buying all these CryptoKitties?
Yeah, that would be interesting if a
that's
certain color pattern sold for higher, so then people were trying to make ones like that or whatever.
Which would probably drive down the value.
Yeah.
It's like a game of rock, paper, scissors. It's all
You also want like a Gen 0 cat, I guess is a big deal. And that's like the original ones that were released and stuff like that. And then the ones that come later on. So it's not like the flashier ones might not be worth as much because,
interesting.
They're not as rare.
Right.
So
It's like a common project. It's a very simple looking shoe.
Exactly.
The
Right.
most expensive.
Right.
And the more you ornament them, the cheaper they look.
Yeah.
So this is quite literally where NFTs started. These little cats right here. And afterwards, there were a bunch of like third-party developers that came with additional projects and added onto there, like kitty hats, which lets you accessorize your kitties. And then Kitty Explorer, which lets you analyze the overall ecosystem. Sure. So point being, people were really excited about the like smart contracts that were going underneath there. And OpenSea, which came around in December 2017, shortly after the kitties, was a platform where you could buy and sell these guys. Usually the CryptoKitties itself charged 3.5% commission on all sales. OpenSea only did 2.5%. So as a result, they started building up pretty quickly. They had two very young they must be, I want to call them brilliant or very naive, and it just worked out for them.
Yeah.
Founders.
One or
Man.
the
Can you
other.
imagine just
And
telling your
nothing
parents,
between.
I think it's hard to explain to my mom how I make money.
let alone,
Can you
Right.
imagine these guys? No, I don't even. So that whole thing that like you sell, but it's not a real thing. No, I don't even sell. I make a 2.5% commission
What it's-
on that.
so it's virtual cats, and you breed them, and they have colors.
So you own the picture. No, anyone can use the picture. Okay, so
My parents would be like, I don't know what this is, but it sounds illegal.
As
feels like the
long as-
Apple Jacks commercial. Remember the Apple Jacks commercial thing? Why is it called Apple Jacks if it doesn't taste like apples?
Oh, yeah.
They're like, shut up, Dad. Like that's
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
commercial. I'm like, well, he's asking a good question that no one
Those were
seems to
delicious,
answer.
though. Ooh,
Those
I
were
like those. yeah.
sugar. That's what they taste like. So point being, real value was obviously in the smart contracts that go underneath there. I still think we haven't really fully tapped into like the potential there. I think like leases or deeds and stuff like that will eventually go into smart contracts.
I'm surprised they haven't already. That seems.
It seems very obvious, but technology is weird and how
Yeah.
it kind of gets into different ecosystems. It's weird that we went for cats. Virtual cats was where we were like, this is the first application.
right.
Wow, so the contracts are part of the blockchain.
Yeah, exactly. So this is part that's really way over my head, but ERC 721 was a free open standard that describes how to build unique tokens on the blockchain. And essentially the advancement of this whatever this is standard was really what allowed them to take this to the next level in terms of the NFT marketplace as a whole.
You know what enables the blockchain?
What? Math?
Oh, there it is. So anyway, the OpenSea marketplace did really well. They got into the Y Combinator Accelerator program in 2018, and that's where they were being described as the eBay for crypto assets. And at this point, they're basically the monopoly on the entire NFT marketplace, which has been really interesting because if you've been following along on the internet, there has been some drama in this marketplace recently, and it's very funny. Because if you're buying a several $100,000 cat online, I'm gonna make fun of you if someone steals it from
It's
you.
a victimless crime, really.
It's the perfect crime.
So can they see who steals it because of the blockchain?
Yeah, okay, Mr. Razzle Khan, he's over here.
Yeah,
he's like,
but
I
that's the
remember-
weird
I
thing
remember
about
the
Bitcoin theft is the ledger.
Yep.
Like the Bitcoin is every transaction that's ever taken place, which has to show an owner or show
Exactly.
what wallet it goes to.
Well, that is the perfect segue into scandal number 1, which we are
Okay.
going to cover, which is when our boy, Justin Bieber, bought an NFT for $1.3 million.
Wow.
And now everyone was all excited. But then people found out, no, he didn't. He did not pay for it.
So who did?
It was gifted to him.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So, as you can imagine, getting a name like the Biebs behind your NFT program is going to be, this is all about buzz. We
Yeah.
just need as many people playing the game as possible. Otherwise, it doesn't work at all. And the whole story when they made this announcement in early February was that he had bought one of those bored apes. You know the bored apes? There's a picture a little bit later on in here. But point being, there's like 10,000 of them or something like that. And they're super popular. And celebrities who have more money and time than they should, they've been trading them back and forth.
Wow.
So he apparently paid 3 to 4 times. Just move them. Here we go. He apparently paid 3 to 4 times more than it was worth. And it was like this story of like, he was really believing in the art and all that stuff. Like that was the initial stuff. And then people actually went and looked at the ledger, to your point.
Yeah.
And they were like, wait a second. This fucker didn't buy any of these stuff.
Wow.
Also, not a thoughtful gift to buy someone.
No.
I bought you an NFT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Happy
like buying someone a lottery
Valentine's
ticket
Day.
as a gift.
Right. A $1 million lottery ticket.
Yeah, right.
So, it's really just a status symbol. It's really what it comes
it's
down
like when
to.
someone pays over $100 million for a Basquiat, it's like,
Yeah.
you wanted to spend that much. That was the
Right.
whole point of it.
Exactly. It's just it's like the exclusivity of it. So in this case specifically, it appears that Bieber had a connection to the In-Betweeners, which was the like NFT group who had an artist working for them, I believe it was, named Gianpiero D'Alessandro. And he was the guy who designed merchandise for Bieber, Snoop Dogg, and a bunch of others. So basically, this pretty cool artist got involved with this NFT group and was like, obviously, if we have Justin promote this, we're going to make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
So, but to your point, a lot of this stuff is very easy to identify. Once you have the transaction occur, you can see the wallet. And then once you link the wallet to the person, you know kind of the history of what's going on. And they were able to take a look at that and realize that it was more than likely either gifted or the in-betweeners had control of his wallet and were basically just running the transactions themselves and saying Justin was, owned the wallet.
Yeah.
Which I guess is still gifting, but in a slightly different way.
Okay.
The weird part about this is that the in-betweeners claim that they're not paying any influencers at all. They said, what we are avoiding is paid promo. We think that dilutes our brand. We haven't paid a huge influencer to post about us. But yes, you
But they
did.
so just gifted that to Bieber as
Yeah.
a way to get press, and it's the same exact thing.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the bored ape that he bought.
Oh, I love it.
It's kind of cute. He's crying.
It's
And that's the art. Yeah. May's like, 1.3 million, I'll take the money.
Looks like the Gorillas. Remember that band?
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like all of the bored apes look like gorillas inspired. So
Who's that? There's an artist. Gorillaz is 2 people. It's the guy who does all the music. What's
Yeah.
his name? Art something. And then the other person is the visual artist, and they are the band. So
Oh, okay.
the one person draws everything for all the Gorillaz stuff, and they're half the band.
That's cool.
Howl or something like that.
Do you think
That's
the guy who
interesting.
makes the music is ever just like, but like I'm a bigger part of that?
Oh, definitely.
just so we're clear, like
Oh,
it's
man.
cool and all, but like, what about the
Damon
music
Albarn, that's right.
though?
And then that's a musician who, by the way, so this is just a piece of trivia. If you know the song, Song 2.
Yep, Blur.
Woohoo! When I feel heavy matter. That's Blur is Damon Albarn. It was
Oh,
his first
interesting.
band.
Oh,
and then
okay,
he
I didn't know
started
that.
Gorillaz. He's one of the best living artists.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, so who's the other person? Rule or something? But again, I feel like they probably are part of NFT culture.
Oh,
They've
for sure.
probably
Oh, more than
created
yes,
that
absolutely.
style of art.
I would
along
imagine
with,
they
like,
are.
What's his name? Have we said already? Murakami. Like that kind of art, like pop art, cartoony, Japanese
Right.
inspired.
Well,
yeah.
and I mean, so much of like the modern
Huel,
art,
that's who it is.
the modern art stuff is like getting like that fandom and just kind of like that, prestige around it.
Mm-hmm.
And NFTs are really well positioned to do that kind of stuff because the sums of money people are spending on them are insane.
Yeah.
And it's mostly just in like the, owning it and like feeling cool about it.
Yeah.
But the problem is there are FTC rules on this kind of stuff where, May, you probably know a little bit about this. If an influencer does
Yeah.
some sort of paid promo like this,
They have to disclose that it was paid.
And that's because of
Right.
Fire Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
started after Fire Festival.
And mostly because of Fire Festival, yes.
Yeah.
Which is very
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, it is.
I remember I did paid promo for, like, I got paid to do promotional for something and I had to put hashtag ad. I'm like, what if I like your brand and just
you're
didn't
like-
want to put that? They're like, you have to put ad.
Yeah.
Well, point being, Bieber did not hashtag add his things. So there are some rule infringements potentially going on here, definitely going on
Interesting.
here. And I don't know if there's any like actual, they're pursuing like legal action on him at this
Right.
point. But this is all as of like a few weeks ago. So that could still occur.
Even if you're not paying an influencer and you're gifting them, they still have to say complimentary from La Croix or whatever
think-
it is.
I think when he posted the picture of him getting the NFT, he said he just copped it, which is like, what does that mean?
Yeah, right.
Like, is that like your way of just being like, what is
knows.
copped? And that, all right. So now that we know about the Bieber relationship, that leads us into scandal number 2, which is very funny as well. So there's this man, Timothy McKimmey, who owned Bored Ape 3475, which you can see below. And he had purchased it last December for about 55 Ethereum, which at that point was about $232,000. Look at it. So cute. It's wearing a little hat. It's got some sunglasses, biting its lip. Perfect.
A
Love this
turtleneck.
guy.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately for Timothy, on February 7th, there was a security vulnerability that allowed an outside party to illegally enter through OpenSea's code and access his wallet.
Oh.
So the attacker got access to his wallet where he had this couple $100,000 ape in it, and they took it and they listed and sold his Bored Ape at a fraction of the value. They went and set it as like a value of 0.01 Ethereum or $26.
What?
Wow. Going out of business sale.
Oh my God.
And we assume the hacker bought it.
It's
Yeah.
so funny to me. You've got fucking
That's very funny.
this guy.
And they can't reverse it. No. I guess that's the
Well,
whole point.
in this case, there is more because OpenSea is like an organization. There is a lot more power that they have than over like Bitcoin and Ethereum themselves.
But that still kind of ruins the whole thing.
It's
someone can
certainly
come in
not
and seize
easy.
your assets,
Let me
yeah.
tell you that.
Well, at least he got $26. That's like 2 bowls of Speed Greens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Perfect.
Not even.
Yeah,
honestly.
seriously. Depends if you're getting protein or not.
It's funny that he paid just a little bit. He didn't steal
Yeah,
it.
right.
He actually just paid him.
Here's
just,
a
you
couple
can't-
bucks.
You can't sell it for
0.01.
free.
That's so funny. That's great.
So he bought it obviously for $26 and then flipped it to another person for over $300,000.
Well, now it's really now it's a valuable piece of art because it has a
Has a
history.
Oh,
Story.
yeah, absolutely. And McKimmey alleges that OpenSea knew about the vulnerability and failed to tell them about that and blah, blah, blah. So
Inside
there's an
job,
actual... inside like their code or whatever the hell.
Right.
And there's an actual lawsuit going against the OpenSea now from, obviously he's pissed about it. Yeah. Understandably upset.
No kidding.
And he actually cites this Justin Bieber instance saying, hey, the rarity score of his, who knows what the rarity score, I guess like if it's like Gen 0 versus whatever, like we were talking about earlier, was a lot higher for his ape than Justin Bieber's, which sold for 1.3 million. So arguably his is worth millions of dollars and growing each day.
Yeah, that's why it was targeted.
Point being, OpenSea now has to deal with that, which is pretty funny to me.
That's really funny.
And that leads me to the last scandal that I will discuss, Scandal 3, which happened last Saturday. If you were on Twitter last Saturday night, if you pulled up the app for a second, you may have seen some very angry people online. Like Alabaster Jefferson, who we've got here, his tweet, all capital. Hey everyone, I connected with a few other people who got hacked just now. All of us only have one thing in common. All of our stolen NFTs were ones we manually migrated on OpenSea. At OpenSea, you have so much explaining to do. Pissed.
Oh my God, this guy.
Having a bad Saturday night. Can you imagine? He's like been day drinking all day and he's like, you have got to be kidding me.
Ooh.
That is terrible. So this software, I guess OpenSea is the software used to like
It's the
store your
marketplace.
NFT. It's the marketplace.
Yeah.
Okay. And the marketplace also is your gallery.
Yes.
In a way.
Right? Yeah. That's where you have all your...
It's not like you're going to have
Yeah.
it privately on your own computer. It has to be part of an open...
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically what had happened here is on Saturday night, there was a lot of confusion. It's only been a couple days since there, but the latest what they think has happened is that there was a phishing email that went out to all of these people with their with the wallets, and they essentially just got their credentials from that. There are some people who think that there was something wrong with the smart contracts themselves and another vulnerability. That very well could be the case, but I think just being in my industry, more than likely what happened is that they sent a phishing email, duped these people to do whatever like the ask was, and then they were able to go in and just snipe all of their NFTs. So Saturday night, like I think it was like 32 different people started seeing their NFT. There was like over 250 ones that started just getting pulled out of accounts. Whoa. And they were like, oh shit. And they're worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in many cases.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. Bad weekend.
I'm angry when I delete a draft email.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So obviously OpenSea, very bad for their brand. This is the CEO here, and he's having to tweet on like late Saturday night. I know you're all worried. We're running an all hands on deck investigation. I want to take a minute to share the facts. Then he goes through and kind of describes all the different ways that this all occurred. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day,
he's blaming it on phishing though. He's saying it's your fault. He's victim blaming.
He's victim blaming,
right?
Exactly. He's like, why did you click that link? What was it wearing?
Yeah, if they have your password.
What was it wearing?
Yeah.
What was it dressed up as? Was it a free MacBook Pro? Anyway, don't click those links. Anyway, but 17 people ended up actually having the phishing occur to them, which is still quite a few, enough to make Twitter very upset. A lot of people were freaking out, obviously, because they didn't know if they had been compromised or not. And weirdly, a couple people got their NFTs given back to them.
That is weird.
By the attacker. No idea why. One victim inexplicably received 50 Ethereum from the attacker, as well as some of his stolen NFTs back.
That's a lot of money, right?
That's like $130,000. Yeah. And then,
wow.
Yeah. And then the one thing that they did continue to keep from that one specific person was this one ape right here that you can see in the little army hat.
So it's probably just like a scattershot approach and then just keep the one good one.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to steal too many or then no one trusts the platform. But if you steal one major one and then that one becomes famous because of the theft, that thing's going to have a remarkable value.
Were you the thief?
Yeah.
And you heard it here first. It was Matthew Broussard.
And I'm selling it.
Yeah, so that's Bored Ape Yacht Club. This little guy right here, he's still in the hands of the thieves. As you can see, this is a screenshot from their website today. It was reported for suspicious activity, so they're not allowing at least their website to like facilitate the trading of it and going
Right.
forward.
Oh, they halted it.
So
I was
they
gonna say,
halted
it's not
it.
that expensive.
Well, they halted it on their website. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's probably ways you can do it off of the marketplace, but like, who the hell knows? You know what I mean?
Wow.
So that's where we're at right now. So a lot of very rich people lost a lot of money. Salad
Salad fingers.
Salad Hands is the latest owner of Bored Ape.
Very legitimate
1277.
business where everyone has a fake name and a cartoon for a profile picture.
Right. Crazy. Wow.
That's investment, baby.
Yeah, it really is.
Yep.
What a clown
that's-
world we live in.
Yep. Really is. Not an ape world.
Y'all should look into Murakami because I think he's like, I don't know if he's just someone who started this or just part of this, but he's this visual artist. He's maybe most famous for doing the Kanye album cover with the bear.
Oh yeah.
But he
that's
has
a
some of
good
the
one.
most expensive art in the world. He'll do sculptures, art, and one of his like beliefs is that there should be no separation between capitalism and art. Like one of his grand sculptures in a museum just has the Louis Vuitton print all over it.
Interesting.
And he's like, that shouldn't diminish its value. Yes, it's selling something. We're all selling something. It doesn't matter if it's fine art or high art.
Sure.
Very convenient
Yeah.
that that's probably a very profitable.
Lucrative, right?
That's my viewpoint.
Sue him.
No, I mean, listen, I'm on board.
Yeah.
But
Pretty cool.
Matthew, this has been very interesting.
It's been a
Thank
good
you for
episode.
fun.
Thank you for taking us through your work history.
Thanks for making me feel even more confused about NFTs.
I
So-
know.
You're welcome.
This is
There's
like the
cats
15th
and
time we brought
monkeys
them up. I'm like, I don't
involved.
know.
Why if the monkey's bored, why doesn't it just go do something?
Right.
Oh, just play video games.
All right. Well, yeah, that's basically it, you guys. We'll catch you next time.
Yep. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Fuck, are they doing this?
It's to make money. It's Risque Business News.